Hey, this is Dale Tinsley. You're listening to the Connect Podcast. Our purpose is to guide you to connect with yourself so that you can connect with others and live a life of meaning and value. Hi, and welcome back to the Connection Studio, the series Connecting with Ourselves. This is the second installment of Owning Our Reality. Open your mind, open your heart. That to me is very powerful, because with the right state of mind, we can absorb and gain the insight in whatever situation we're in. And that's how we learn, right? Through observation. Opening your mind and opening your heart, those things are difficult. Owning your reality is difficult, but it's the starting point. It's the beginning, and it's how we can get some direction through the accountability, through the inventory of who we are, and through that, what you will hear out in the media or people talk about doing the work. It's the internal work. Doing the work is the internal work of all the things that we discussed in part one that we touched on. It's a lot of layers to own the reality that we're in, that we created. Whether we didn't act or through our own actions, good and bad, or healthy and unhealthy, sustainable, unsustainable. It's created the reality that we're in today, right now, that each of us have to own in order to become the best versions of ourselves. Better than we were a week ago, better than what we were a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Growth and change. So open your mind, open your heart, and get into the right headspace and state of mind that you need to be in to fully absorb today's message. It's a relaxed state of mind, right? Non-threatening. And all of it will continue to tie back to awareness. So in the previous segment, we touched on a bunch of different things. We've stirred the pot for sure. You should have a lot going on. A lot of different things might have been triggered. And following along with the journal and writing those things down and taking that inventory of yourself, some of those things we're not proud of, we're even ashamed of. But those moments, those unhealthy moments, those self-destructive and self-sabotaging moments, those moments don't have to stay in that space. Those moments can be reflected on, and they can be moments to learn from. That's the end goal, for that anyway, is to take those moments, process them, analyze them, own them, accept them, deal with it, and learn from it, and heal yourself from it so that you're not triggered from it anymore. Then it becomes a lesson, and you can see it coming at you in the future, whether it's from a different angle, a different person, which it'll always be something random. But in the back of your head, you'll have that lesson in your back pocket. Elevating your awareness is a big part to all of this internal work that we do. And in owning your reality, that's what will happen. You will continue to elevate your awareness as you continue to look at yourself honestly. Your actions, your thoughts, your goals, it's almost to the point of being critical of yourself. And that doesn't mean you have to beat yourself up, but it is uncomfortable. And you have to have those talks with yourself, and those dynamics for all of us are going to be very, very unique. I can share within my own journey, it was a ugly struggle at certain times where I would yell at myself, why do you keep making the same decision? Oh, it was painful. And that pain was me dealing with my ego. And at the time, I wasn't reading anything on self-growth or self-enlightenment or self-help books or anything like that. It just kind of happened. And boy, it was ugly. It was ugly, and it's just reflecting back on those moments, right? But those are the moments where you're challenging yourself to try and grow. And at the time, I didn't have a roadmap or anything like that, or anyone really in my ear, and I hadn't stumbled upon the self-awareness and the internal growth avenues that are out there, whether you find them in a bookstore or on TV or now the social media, it's a lot easier to find. But I was about 22 years old, and this was in Los Angeles, so it came to me. I was in my truck, and I didn't have a radio at the time. It had actually gotten stolen 2 weeks before I moved to LA, so looking back on it, it was divine intervention. And the inside of my truck was my therapy center. So that, it's crazy how it all happens, but it's a little bit of some insight on me. That internal battle, that is the ego and the true self. And as you continue to document and process internally, owning your reality and starting to connect with yourself and building paths and new patterns and working to connect with yourself, you're going to meet resistance. And you need to be aware of it. And why is it there? Well, and what patterns and what distractions come from that resistance? And what is that resistance? Well, that resistance is your ego. And it's the yin and the yang within us. It's the ego and the true self. And the ego, you'll never get rid of it. So the best thing to do is understand it, be able to see it and process it within yourself, and know which thoughts are egotistical and which actions are egotistical, and minimize the damage. And we do that through self-awareness. We do that through understanding ourselves and then being better able to understand others. And through understanding ourselves, we connect with ourselves, and then we're able to connect with others. And that's what this is about. So I wanted to get into outside interaction versus internal interaction, and what that means, right? So outside interaction is all of the things that we do in our lives, and we're just going through the motions, and we're doing things based on appearance for other people, or because we have an understanding that should be done, or this is the way it is. But let me ask you this. If you don't have any internal interaction with yourself, obviously, right? Your internal interaction, if that's dormant, if that's non-existent, then what is all of the outside interaction based on? What does it come from? Why are you doing the things that you're doing? So that internal interaction, we need to elevate that, become more self-aware, and minimize the outside interaction. Actually, becoming more aware and getting a grip on the internal interaction, you'll see your outside interaction will start to shift. You might be a people pleaser. You might do things for show, which that's all egotistical, right? Because if we don't have a reference point of what's really going on inside of us, then the rest, the outside stuff is kind of like an autopilot, right? Could just be reaction based. So, is that final? Is that where you want to be? Where we want to be? Can it change? Of course it can change. We have to continue to do the internal work so that we can own our reality and be of service to ourselves and our family and our kids and ultimately our community. So let me ask you this. Your interactions with other people and the bond that you have with them or connection, is it real? Is it a real connection? Do you feel fulfilled, or is it just empty? And that emptiness, that's tough. You know, sometimes we want to connect with people. We want to open ourselves up, and you're dealing with somebody that they don't have an open mind. They don't have an open heart. A lot of things will dissipate as you continue to do the self-inventory and do the internal work. You'll realize that it's rare. It's rare because it's uncomfortable and it's tough. It takes effort, a lot of effort. But there's a process to it, and as we continue the series of Connect, we'll get there. We'll get there, and we'll explore the layers and the layers and the layers that encompass all of it and tie all those things together. Acceptance is a big one. Accepting who we are, even right now as we're beginning the journey of awareness. And what does the awareness equal? It equals building and growth. So what stands in the path of that building and that growth? Ourselves, our own ego. That's going to give you the resistance. It's going to fight. It doesn't want to change. It's comfortable where it is. It's in control, even though you don't know it, depending on your level of awareness. It will make up every excuse in the book. You're fine. You're doing it the right way. No, everything's okay. But when you look at your life as a whole, and the outside may be shiny and bright, and you may have all the things that society or your family deem are what you should have. All you have to do is look in that mirror and ask yourself if you truly feel connected to yourself and if you truly feel happy. And if all of those shiny things and all of those boxes that you checked were gone, would you be happy? And would you have peace? And is the quality of your relationships with other people, does it bring meaning and value to you? And more importantly, the quality of the relationship that you have with yourself. Where's that? Is the internal dialogue more negative than positive? More unhealthy than healthy? So I wanted to touch on that because the internal battle, that's real, very real. And now we're starting to dig into it. So now the resistance will start hitting. And it probably hit you on the last segment as well. And that's fine, that's normal. But that's not who you are. That's not who you are. And that's not who you want to be. Unless you're happy being miserable. Which I know you're not. Because I swam through that misery. Oh, it's rough. But the only way out of it is through it. Through that misery. And if you look at anybody great out there in the world, doing big things, doing great things, helping people, it's a similar story, right? Where they took their struggles and they battled through it, and then that struggle became an incredible lesson. And the best of the best are out there sharing it to minimize the suffering for others. And so it's time that we take accountability and we own our reality. And we begin by minimizing our suffering. And we do that through self-awareness and the process. And we better it. And it's a gradual thing. And it takes time. I want you to envision yourself 6 months from now. Because that's a good little stretch. And this process takes time. And see yourself at peace. See yourself building your foundation and having worked through some things and done the self-inventory and done the self-work and now starting to really feel some momentum and some progress. And really understanding that through your willingness to work on yourself and to dig into it and own it, you're starting to see the shift. You're starting to feel the shift. You're making different choices. You're breaking the patterns. That's a beautiful thing. So open your mind, open your heart, continue the work. The resistance is just the dragon sitting in front of the gold. And the gold for everybody is different, right? It's peace, it's happiness, it's relationships. But that's the metaphor. The fear, the ego, the resistance. That's what we got to get through. We got to battle through that. The uncomfortable conversations with ourselves. The owning of past moments from ourselves. The accountability within ourselves. That's the dragon. All of us are on a unique journey. Some are similar, but every one of us has a unique experience. Nobody can see it through your lens. With all of the small nuances that have happened in your life to get you to this point right now, today, totally unique. So I'll leave you with that. It's a lot to chew on. It takes time. Work through it. Work through it. Continue to journal. Continue to journal. And work the process. Own your reality. Accept it. and open your mind and open your heart. I'm Dale Tinsley. We're at the Connection Studio. God bless. Thanks for joining us at the Connection Studio. You can support us by sharing with others and posting to social media. Keep doing the internal work, as it will truly make all the difference. God bless.